Hello, and a very warm witchy welcome to episode 5 of DottysSockery. For those of you that have been here before, welcome back. To those that are new, well, welcome in, sit down, grab a coffee. It is Sunday the 10th of May. It's been a little while since the last podcast. I did slot the East Anglia Yarn Show vlog in between there, so it probably doesn't feel as long, but it's been at least a week more than I would normally leave it to get a podcast out. However, there's been a lot going on. So I've got some live things to update about, as well as the usual sort of crafty bits and bobs. And first of all, let me introduce you to the lovely Vera Lynn right here. She's going to feature regularly now, so expect to see my creations sat on Vera. She's currently wearing, mainly because I didn't think it was appropriate for her to be naked for her first outing with you all. So this is the Whispered Serenity sweater that was one of my hyper focuses from a previous podcast. That I finished very, very quickly and absolutely love, and is now my entire personality. Although I'm not wearing it today because Vera's wearing it. So yeah, it's been a little while. So yeah, let's start with life, the universe, and everything, shall we? So, as you would have seen from my little intro, I've done a little span of my living room, and I've done a bit of moving about. I've put some pictures up, and I've sort of not redecorated, but sort of rejigged everything. So we now have, if I can sort of show you, we have all the butterfly. There's my butterfly paintings. I have all the pictures on the walls. This is a bit jaggedy because I'm not very good at moving the camera around. So I've put some pictures up. I've got, oh, need to look at me, not the piano. There we go. Yeah, so I've moved everything around a little bit. I've done some organisation, and I've also done a bit of you may have seen from my Instagram, I've done a bit of a stash sort out as well of my hand-dyeds. I have come to the conclusion, folks, it is not surprising, I am a yarn dragon. I am collecting yarns and just keeping them like treasure, which needs to change. I need to start using more stash for more projects instead of buying new yarn. So that's going to be the mission going forward. Although I don't want to de-stash and I don't want to not have a stash, I want to use stash regularly. So I'm not just hoarding it. But I know it's so pretty. So, life things. First of all, some exciting news. After the disbandment of my previous theatre group, which I was very, very sad about, I have joined another. And I have successfully been cast in the panto towards the end of the year in November. We're doing Aladdin, and I've been cast as the genie of the lamp. I'm so excited. It's done so much for my mood lately. I was in a bit of a sulk because the project I was working on at work finished and my job role has changed. Some traffic outside, that's going to be fairly loud, but we can't help that. Just take no notice of them. So the project that I was working on for some time, I think 2.5, nearly 3 years, that came to a halt. So that finished, not a halt, it finished. It was successful. It finished. And so I keep touching my head. I don't know why. I think it's just a habit. I'm just being all woo, woo. Yeah, so that finished, and it really lifted my mood from that, because I was sort of sulking about that a little bit, because I was really enjoying the project, and you know, when things end, you're like, I'm happy that it's done, but I'm sad, you know. So yeah, really, really excited about playing the genie. I have a big song, a very big song, and I'm going to be pretty much covered from head to toe in gold glitter. Is what I've been told by the sort of head of costumes. I will be helping out with some of the costumes, so you may actually see bits and bobs of the costumes for the show on the podcast. Vera may be wearing some of them. We don't know yet. Excuse me. Got a very dry throat today. So although I'm not in charge of costumes this time around, I am helping out. So there might be bits of sewing and stuff that I may show if I get the opportunity to. It's all good fun. I love making theatre costumes. It's just so much fun. So yeah, that's going to be like such a fun thing to do. I'm really looking forward to just getting really into it. We cast it a couple of weeks ago. We're now starting rehearsals, and it's a very new group as well. It's a brand new group. So there's some old friends that I've worked with before. There's a couple of people from the last group that I was in that you know, wanted to do something again, and then some more people have come on board. And there's a few people that have never ever been on stage. So it's going to be a really mixed bag of cast. And so what's going to be nice is to be able to bring people along on the journey and kind of teach them stagecraft as well. I'm really looking forward to that. It's just, we've got a couple of kids in there that are just phenomenal, and they've never done anything before, and they don't realise how good they are. And I'm so excited to get them on stage and get them sort of showing off their talents and stuff. It's going to be amazing. So other than that, got a few gigs coming up. I didn't do anything for VE Day, actually. I usually do end up, because I do a lot of 1940s stuff with my singing gigs, I tend to usually get busy around that time of year, but I didn't get any gigs set up for this year, and so I just chilled, which was nice. But I've got a few others coming up. I've got a 1940s one in June. I've got Remembrance. Talking of Remembrance, actually, this is how my brain works, one thing flowing into the other. I have some things to show you. So a member of my choir put out a call on the choir group for knitters and crocheters to come and help out. They're creating a poppy cascade for one of the local charities, and to help out and make some poppies for this poppy cascade. So I have done a whole bunch of them. Here they are. I haven't sewn the ends in yet, but look how cute they are. So we've used one of the official patterns for Remembrance for this. I will put the pattern up, actually. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, and then I also played around with it a little and made a bigger version. So that's my take on the design, and made it sort of bigger. So yeah, so what's really nice is to have like communities come together and actually do something nice like this. So I'm going to be making as many of these as I can. But yeah, if there is anybody in the Midlands that wants to take part in getting that cascade ready, drop me a message and I'll send you the details. So I'm just using paint box acrylics, just standard sort of acrylic yarn, just to get as many out for as little cost as possible. These are just sort of cheapy ones from Lovecrafts, I think, for Simply DK. And yeah, I'm just getting a load of those out, as many as I can possibly do. I might do a few extras as well. So the pub that I will be singing in at Remembrance, I was thinking about doing a chain of poppies for, because I sing there regularly anyway, and I always do Remembrance there. So it would be really nice to actually sort of give them something to put up. And you know, I love Remembrance. I love what it means and what it stands for, and everything else and what it means to people. So I love taking part with anything to do with that. Spooky nights. I'm not letting go of Halloween. So, actual crafty things. Well, that is a crafty thing, but actual crafty things that I've been doing the last couple of weeks. Is my microphone on? Yes. Oh, no. Yep. I turned it off and turned it back on again. I've done that before and ended up with no sound. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about is a yarn. So when I was at the East Anglia Yarn Show, you would have seen, if you've seen the last vlog that I did from the show, if you are new, go and have a look at that one, because that was a really fun show, absolutely fantastic environment, wonderful people. 10 out of 10, we'll do again. Absolutely, we'll go again. Quite looking forward to there's one in Wolverhampton coming up as well, the West Midlands. I've forgotten what it's called. I'll put it down below. But my mum is vending that one, Yew-Tree Yarn Craft. So I will be going along and probably helping out and meeting people and just generally wandering around, probably trying to hide because I get very nervous about talking to people at shows, but I still enjoy it. So while I was at East Anglia, I bought this yarn from Coastal Colours and I absolutely fell in love with it, and it's a one-off, and it is a 85% superwash merino, 15% Donegal nep 4-ply yarn, and it's just stunning. I spoke about it on that podcast. If you want to go and have a look at that podcast, I talk a little bit about how they actually dye these yarns and how they get the colours. But I've absolutely fell in love with this one, and because it's so special and because it's a one-off with all the neps and everything else, I really want to find a pattern that will do it some justice, preferably something that's one skein, because I don't want to put it with anything else unless it's something that's just dark, that I can just have this as the kind of highlight and have that as just background. But I was hoping for maybe a shawl or a single skein or something that's just really going to show that off. So if anyone has any pattern suggestions for this beautiful, beautiful thing, please drop them in the comments, because I am scouring Ravellry at the moment for ideas on this. It's got purples and greens and blues and greys, and it's a little bit of red in there, a sort of a rust colour. It's just absolutely stunning. And I've totally fallen for it, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And it's so soft and so nice, and it smells beautiful. You just have to put it on your face. So if anyone has any pattern ideas for that, just a single skein kind of thing, something that's not worn too often, because I don't want to sort of wash out these neps or anything. So maybe a shawl, maybe just something that's really going to show those colours off. Please drop it in the comments, because I will take on board any ideas. I really will. So that's that yarn. So where should we start with actual knitting and crochet? Let's start with whips, I think, today. So the first whip that I want to talk about is the Jan sweater that has featured on here so many times, but we love her. And here she is for another outing. I've done very little on the Jan sweater. I have done an inch of knitting, just an inch of knitting, but we're well established into this green colour now, and actually today you can see those colours so much better than I could on the last podcast. There we go, look at that. Those colours are just, they're just so earthy, and they just go into each other so well. And the pattern is just so lovely to do as well. It's a nice repeat. It's a little bit different every few rows. It's, you know, it's just got so much going for it, this pattern. it just takes a lot of time to get anywhere. Each row takes a while to do because it's such a fine yarn. We're on a, what are we on? A 3.25mm needle. Just so, it takes so long to get through. There's my little cats. I've got a little cat face stitch marker as well. I'm using all the cats on this one. And that's just kept in one of my older Ravellry Yarncraft bags. I think this one was a prototype, but it's still going and it's still practical, and you know, we're just going ahead with it. I've talked about the yarns for this one more than once on this podcast, so I won't go into it. That's a John Arbon yarn. Burdock, I believe, is the colourway name for that one. But they're really super fine yarns and they're absolutely beautiful. It just takes a while. So I think that one's going to be a bit of a labour of love. I don't think that's one I'm going to finish anytime soon. I'm looking at the moment to see what I can finish sort of spring, summer, and then what the plans are going to be for summer, autumn knitting, and then maybe into winter, because I know I never finish anything and I get excited. So next we have the Muusa dress. Have not got very far with this either. So this is a floor length maxi dress. I'll put a picture of it here so you can see what it looks like when it's sort of finished, because at the moment we have two chest pieces. So we have booby 1 and booby 2. And that the picture will sort of help you to understand how they kind of fit into the dress and why that itself is an achievement. So I'm doing this in Cotton Kings DK. It's 100% cotton gradient. Salt and Shadow is the colourway for that. That's a 200 gram cake there. Cotton Kings, there we go. And it's really soft and it's really nice, and I know that if I steam that, it's probably going to stretch out a little bit as well. So yeah, we're getting somewhere on these chest pieces, and I'm basically using 2 skeins at once for each side of the chest so that I can keep the colours symmetrical. I wanted to do sort of the top of the dress in this sort of lilac-y part of the yarn, and then come down the colours as we go down the dress, and then back into the purple, back into the black, and so on and so forth. So I really wanted the colour change to be sort of down the garment. That is currently sitting in my Dotty bag with the lovely leaves inside. That's another Ravellry Yarncraft bag. This one this one was not a prototype. I've just pulled my little thing off. I'm going to have to fix that later. Just so violent with it, aren't I? It's a little cat in the moon, because of course it is. Look how cute that is. I'll pop that back on in a minute. Yeah, so that one, again, a labour of love. That's not going to be a couple of months. That's probably going to be next summer. You know, that's not going to be ready for this summer at all. I'm just not going to have the time to commit to it. So it's going to be a very big piece. It's going to take me some time, as well as everything else at the same time anyway. If I was just working on that, maybe. But I can never just work on one thing unless I hyper-focus on it. Hyper-focus, that word was. Yeah. So it'll get there. So the last whip that I will show that I've actually worked on, I've got a couple of others. The Monarch butterfly cardigan, the wolf bayo, and a couple of other bits and bobs, but I've not really worked on them at all. Although I do intend to get them finished hopefully by the end of summer. The butterfly cardigan especially, because I want that for sort of autumn and winter. I really want the garment. And this one, this is the Granny Square cardigan by Hey Crochet, and this one has been a very quick hyper focus. So it's a granny square cardigan. I've stitched all the squares together now. I need to sew up the sides, I need to put the sleeves on, I need to put the button band on and the ribbing at the bottom. So it's going to be a sort of quirky kind of boho-y type jackety cardigan, and it's going to be very, very warm and pretty and really good for sort of autumn and winter because it's quite heavy, it's quite hefty. And what I've done is I've used visible joins on purpose because I love the quirkiness of that. I've used purple on the vertical joins and green on the horizontal joins. And that's really just to show off the different colours and to make it look kind of patchworky. Because that's just a whole vibe. And these are just leftover acrylics. And I think there's a bit of cotton in, yeah, I think that purple is a cotton in there as well. Just, again, stash busting. Just old yarns that have been hanging around for a long time, leftovers from granny square blankets that I've done for people and for myself. I have them everywhere. And so rather than do another granny square blanket and use those up, I thought I'll do a cardigan. I still have enough for a blanket. I may do more. And I've got, this is what's left to put together. These bigger squares are for the sleeves. So it's going to be very big and slouchy and kind of just big hangy kind of drapey cardigan for autumn and winter. I'm really looking forward to having the garment. It's just quirky like me. But yeah, we've got some cottons in there, some leftover acrylics in there, and that's just on a 5mm hook. I didn't really need the pattern all that much. It's mainly for the sizing and the construction that I wanted the pattern for, because that's, you know, I just wanted to check that that was going to be logical and whatever else. Because with crochet, I can usually just improvise. I'm quite sort of proficient at that, but yeah, I'm really happy with that so far. So we'll continue to see how that goes. Hopefully by next time I see you, I'll have that finished. I am hyper focusing on it at the moment, so maybe by next week I'll get it finished. But yeah, hopefully that'll be the plan going forward. So if I can finish that one, and I can finish the butterfly cardigan by the end of sort of spring, summer, I'll be very, very happy. I haven't done any more spinning, mainly because I just haven't got the spinner out at all. There's been other things. There's been so much going on with the theatre group and everything. So I have the spinning that I finished last time, I still need to ply. I'm going to ply that with a darker yarn because there's pinks and purples and greens and blues in there. And I think if I ply that with something darker, I think that's really going to make those colours pop and it'll look really interesting. So, new cast on. There is only one. There can be only one. I'm only allowed one. Although there will be more because I have plans, which I will get to in just a moment. Spooky bag. This is one of the items I picked up from the East Anglia Yarn Show that I absolutely fell in love with, and I had to have it. It's just so beautiful. This ghost is just my new friend. Look at him. We need a name for him. What should we call him? I don't know. He looks like a Brian. Or Jeff. Jeremy. Something like that. A human name. So, this is the Halu sweater by Caitlyn Hunter, and it is a slouchy V-neck lace yoke piece. I will put a picture up here. Ta-da! And basically I have cast it on, I've done the ribbing, or started, I've got most of the way through the ribbing. Where's the front? there's the back, there's the front. So yeah, that's the front of the V, just there. Stop doing that. There we go. So there's the front of the V-neck just there. And I've got my little witch's hat. And this yarn is absolutely just beautiful. It's earthy and autumnal and just very, very me. It is a Ravellry Yarncraft yarn. It's Unikite. And somewhere I have the label. She says, I did, where's the label gone? Okay, but I had the label. I brought the label out. Where has the label gone? Oi, label, where have you gone? It's in the bag. Of course it's in the bag. I didn't think it was in the bag, but it is in the bag. So, yep. Ravellry Yarncraft. And it is Unikite. It's 75% superwash merino, 15% nylon, 4-ply. And it's just a lovely, lovely autumnal sort of oranges, greens, yellows, bit of brown in there. Just such a lovely mix of like all those autumnal colours. I mean, just look at that. Just absolutely stunning. And it knits up so beautifully. I mean, just look at that. So this is going to be like nice and slouchy and just a lovely thing to wear. So I'm doing the neckline at the moment and working on the increases. So the V-neck, the increases are in the rib, and then it just sort of flows off the shoulders into the lace, sort of the lace yoke. And I'm really excited about this one. And again, this one's become a little bit of a hyper focus. But the great thing about this one is because it's 4-ply and it's fairly compact. At the moment, I've been able to take this with me to places. I sat in the pub over the weekend with my other half watching the football. He sat there watching the football. I sat there knitting on this and actually really enjoyed it. We had some food, we had a giggle. It was great fun. I've knitted my own hair into it. I don't know why I always do that. That happens a lot. It's the dangers of having very, very long hair when you're a knitter. But yeah, that's just on some old Knit Pro needles. And I've got my little butterfly stoppers and my little witch's hat. Oh, where are you? Come back. Come back, witch's hat. My little... Oh, come on. My little witch's hat, look. It's so cute. Yeah, so that is currently living in that spooky bag with unnamed ghost on it. If you can think of a name for him, let me know in the comments. I love naming inanimate objects. I don't know why, it's just become a thing. Giving things human names. So that is the only cast on for the moment, although there will be more. I have plans. So the first plan that I want to get done is this here. This is the Openwork Gilet from Pierrot yarns, and it's been translated by Linda Lance. I'm not sure which language it was in originally, but it's beautiful. And according to the pattern, it's done in a silk blend. And it's a single skein pattern. I happen to have, I think it's a single 100-gram skein pattern. I happen to have 2 skeins of this beautiful grey Knit Picks, which is a 70% merino, 30% silk fingering weight yarn, which works perfectly. Are you gonna do the thing? I don't know if it's focusing or not. It's very difficult to tell whether it's focusing. Yeah, from Knit Picks, and it's really soft, it's really nice, and it's nice and drapey, and I think that will really work for that pattern. And the pattern itself is this, it's kind of the boho sort of gilet card, not, well, sort of a waistcoaty type thing. It's got some lovely lace work on it. It's really me. It's very, very me, and I really, really want to own it. So, and I'm really looking forward to knitting it as well. So I want to cast that on. I feel like I need to finish something first in order to justify casting it on. So I think I may have to finish the granny square cardigan first, although that's not going to take me too long, and then I can make a start on this. But that is the plan. I am going to use this lovely silk blend grey, which smells really nice. That. Next for plans, we have this. This is the shoulder sweater Beatriz by Fernanda Candeo, and it's a mohair off the shoulder fluffy sweater with, like, I think it's cabling on the arms, I'm not sure, but it looks almost Celtic-y the way it's designed. It's very, very pretty, and being mohair, it's very fluffy and very soft as well. So it's knit with 2 strands of mohair held together, which I love the concept of. At the moment, the only mohair that I have is a light green, which I do not want to use for that sweater. In fact, do I have that to hand? Yeah. So the only mohair I have at the moment is this, and it's too light for that. So the sweater is in a dark grey, and I like that. So I'm currently on the lookout for a dark grey mohair that I can get sort of the same vibe as this original picture, because I just love that. I want that as is, in that colour. So yeah, I do this. I see patterns and I fall in love with it, and I'm like, I want that exact thing. Whether I have the capacity to knit that exactly as is, I do not know, but we shall see. We shall find out together. But yeah, again, it's really, really my vibe. It's that off the shoulder boho kind of slouchy thing, a bit like this one that I'm wearing at the moment. Sort of the off the shoulder sort of, I don't know, I just like slouchy, and it's very witchy, it's very me. it fits into my little witchy world. Again, off the shoulder slouchy with the Serenity sweater. So yeah, it just fits into my little witchy world really, really well. I love the dark grey colour, so I want that exact garment. So I'm not convinced on my capacity to knit it yet. So yeah, it looks complicated. Holding mohair together, that's gonna cause issues if anything goes wrong. So it's going to be a pain in the backside to unpick. So we'll see. We'll see. Watch the space. We may just cast it on and it'll all go swimmingly. Who knows? So the last plan is a crochet one, and that is the Solstice Sweater by Spirit and Thread Crochet. I bought this pattern a while ago. I have been sorting through yarns in order to decide what to use for it. It is either, I can't remember off the top of my head because I have 2 similar patterns. It is either a DK weight or an Aran weight, and I really wanted to find some yarns that I could merge into each other and make a kind of gradient with, similar to the Muusa dress, where I could sort of have one colour in the bodice going down to a darker colour in the bottom or in the sleeves, because that pattern's got lovely bell sleeves and it's very boho and very, again, just very me. I have had to look at the pattern quite well and plan it quite well, because the chest measurement for the pattern is slightly smaller than I will need. So I'm following that design and just making the chest bit a bit bigger, just giving it some extra boobage. Yeah, we need extra boobage around here. I can't help it. I grew them myself. What can I say? I say that a lot. It's terrible. But yeah, so that is the last of the plans. The next time you see me will probably be the vlog for the putting together of my beast and broom. I have not got around to that yet. I will be getting around to that, hopefully within the next week or so. I'm hoping next weekend. I need to see what I've got on. I have to plan these things around gigs and around social things and around theatre things and everything else now. So yeah, as soon as I have, and I think I need a good day to actually get that put together and done. But I have the stick over here, I have all the box of bits over there, and I just want a good day just to clear the floor and just set the camera up and just get it done. And I really want to vlog the whole thing and, you know, just sort of talk everyone through how I've done it, because although I've made smaller versions and similar things before, I've never quite done anything on that scale, and it's a bit of an undertaking. So we'll see how I get on. I've done a lot of research with how these things are done, so hopefully that will pay off, but we shall see. But yeah, so thank you for joining me in my little witchy world. It's always lovely to have you all here. I will try and be a bit more consistent with doing the next podcast. I left it a little bit too long this time, I think. At least we had the East Anglia Yarn Show in between, so it probably doesn't feel as long, but it's been probably about 5-6 weeks, which I wanted to be more regular than that, where possible, but obviously real life and time and stuff doesn't always allow. But yeah, so there's some plans there to get sort of the next podcast out a little bit sooner. I have some other whips that I really need to get out, and I don't know, maybe the next podcast I'll just get all the yarns out and all the whips out and just be like, here's everything in a big pile, and you can see why I get overwhelmed. She's crazy, we know. But yes, thank you for joining me in my lovely sort of crafty witchy world. Take care of yourselves, look after your hands and your wrists. If you're doing a lot of knitting, that can always cause issues if you're not careful. I know I do it fairly often. But yeah, look after yourselves, and I will see you again soon. Thank you for watching.